It's okay. Hey, so in the chat, we've got Alistair Kerr. We have One Angry Pagan. We've got Sarah Davis saying, hi, Mikey. Diz is saying, yay, great, my Mikey, which is really cute. We've got Oliver saying, I love Stateside, which is kind of cool. We've also got Hating Cunts in there with Badger. Mushroom. So if you'd like to join our friends in the chat here, all you need to do is hit that subscribe button and wait for a minute, and you will be granted access to the chat, and you'll be able to put your words up, and they'll actually come up on the screen. Don't be a troll, because we will mute you and boot you. So yes, Trump has delivered peace in the Middle East and in Europe and in our time and in victory over Japan and victory over China and
yeah, he did that.
True.
Now give him the Nobel Peace Prize, you morons. That's what he's after.
Do you think it's true? Do you think that the ceasefire will start immediately?
No. Just like the last one, huh? Like all of his ceasefires are bullshit. Like he's never had a ceasefire that wasn't in the process of being broken while he was claiming how great it was.
Oh, hang on. No, I've read it properly now. After a 2-hour call with Putin, he said that Russia and Ukraine will immediately start negotiations towards a ceasefire. They're going to start negotiations, Mikey. To maybe having a ceasefire.
Look, I don't know how to it's the worst snake oil that's ever been sold. This motherfucker is no diplomat. That is easy to see. He brought in Zelensky and screamed at him while his little Iago parrot on the couch squawked about and then you got fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend talking about his clothes. Like this guy's no diplomat.
Yes.
And if they were expecting him to just like snap to like the form of, oh, I am a president now, so I will assume president. This is the same bullshit as before. He's just trying to bully people.
Yes, because that's what he does. He's a bully. Obama got one, so he needs one, apparently. That's what this is saying. Oh, hang on. We have just had an extra person join our chat. I think it looks like an Ollie in Canada. Hello, sir. How you doing?
Hey,
you all right?
How you doing? I am good. Just getting here.
Yay!
I had the wrong start time. I thought we were starting for 20 minutes.
Oh, well, I had the wrong start time too because I was late getting here. So don't worry about it. My fault, as always. We're just talking about Trump and the fact that he's declared peace. He's declared peace in Ukraine because he had a conversation with dickhead. What's his name? Putin. His sugar daddy.
He keeps acting like he don't talk to him every night. Like, stop playing.
Yeah.
We know y'all talk. Hey, Vladimir, you still up? Yeah, I know this time difference is so annoying. I wish you could come here or I could go there.
You hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. You hang up.
No, you first.
Oh, I don't know why I have to tell you why I've been when I talk to Russia. It's like because we're talking about Russia and we were just like wondering if you guys were talking. Well, we were never on the phone late at night. It's like, what do you talk? You're awfully You're awfully defensive over when's the last time you talked to Xi? When's the last time you talked to Putin? These are normal questions you would ask a president when you're supposed to be, having some sort of talks with those people. He gets really like, I've never talked to him desperately.
Apparently, it was a 2.5-hour phone call.
Really?
Does Putin speak English? Yes, right? He's got to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But he doesn't like the taste of the English in his mouth. It makes him feel sick in his mouth to feel the taste of those English words.
I bet that's what it is. He's like, I will speak English for you. He's like, oh, really?
Oh, really?
He never speaks English except for me. Like it's something.
He never spoke English to Biden.
He always spoke Russian with an interpreter. He loves me. That's why. Like, there's probably something stupid like that. You see how easily impressed he was as he was trying to claw his eyeballs open, bored out of his mind. Couldn't sit up and be a good boy for long enough to impress the South. I mean, what an embarrassment. What an
He never has a
embarrassing
second
weekend.
cup of coffee at home.
What
It is really. I mean, this is cringeworthy stuff because it's like
horrible.
it's like someone getting that excited that they've got to someone coming up to you in all earnestness and going, "Oh my God, you're not going to believe it, right? If I give this Nigerian prince 10 grand of my own money,
Yeah.
they're going to give me £1 billion squillion pounds back.
I'll get
All
1
I have to do is
trillion
give
of
them
their
a bank
dollars.
details." It's like, what are you supposed to say to that? Are you joking? Do you really think that's a real thing? Or my God.
And this plane, I mean, and now everyone's finding out that Pam Bondi used to work for the Qatari government. It's like, oh my God, like, come on, guys.
How much is it going to cost to retrofit this jet, this cast off, this
$1 billion.
$1 billion, yeah.
To retrofit a $400 million plane,
An extra $1 billion, yeah.
and it's going to take 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, if they get started right now, maybe they'll be ahead of schedule and they'll be able to, transition it over
That
to the
won't
next
happen.
president. Oh, those pesky delays. It's not done until after I'm finished. I'll just hang on to it. You already got an
I
Air
just keep
Force.
it.
I'll keep this nasty Qatari one. You guys take the old one that I haven't sold most of yet. Put it back together, because
Why does
Elon's
a
gonna buy
library-
Air Force One guaranteed.
Why does a library need a jet plane?
Sometimes you got to rent out books to all sorts of people. Like, what if there's an American, and I don't know, Russia, who needs to return Pride and Prejudice? You got to fly out there and go get that book. It's due back.
Oliver's saying he only speaks English for a special little guy.
That's
A
right.
Special gentleman.
Special little guy. And Chris
For
C
Mr.
says,
President is the only person.
yeah. Just because they're on the phone for 2.5 hours doesn't mean that they were talking for the entire time. Wouldn't surprise me. The Kremlin kept Trump on hold for 80% of the stated time. And do you know what the music was the whole time? It was trollololololololo. Do you remember trollolololo? Do you remember that
Yeah.
from, meme from about 15 years ago? That was the theme. That was the music. That was the music that was being
It was
played.
born in the USA
Old music.
on a loop. Just
George,
Wow.
George, thank you very much for the £5 super chat, my friend. As long as Trump gets a $400 million jet out of this, because Air Force One is getting old, he has wealth envy issues.
let's talk about
does.
real quick. Old. What do you mean old? Like, if I have let's go cars here. If I have like a 69 Charger that I've got damn near Pro Street, it's a drag car that I take out to the drag strip, I would hardly say that car is old when every single component in it is state of the art, brand new, and is top of the line. Air Force One,
Exactly.
the plane, maybe the shell, the fuselage is old. There is nothing old inside there mechanically.
No, apart from Trump when he's
That is
in
the
there
oldest
being a
thing
fucking
inside there.
weirdo.
Every time he gets in there, he's the oldest thing on the fucking plane.
He's in these impromptu interviews where he looks like he's on the way to the toilet. He's standing up on Air Force One. He looks like he's on his way to the loo. And
When someone asks you something when you're trying to go to the bathroom, you're just like, what I was gonna say earlier. Yeah. I think he's trying to get to the bathroom, but they have to keep poking out.
Oliver Brown saying, "Who would have thought integrating an AWACS system into a 747 could be so expensive? OMG."
No.
Chris C, you're saying, thing is, with Putin and Russia, is the time for diplomacy has expired. Sanctions aren't working and he's taking the piss. We need actual action against Putin and Russia. Couldn't agree more, mate. I think NATO should just declare war on Russia. Fuck them.
Yeah.
No paper tiger.
Well, war
I'm-
maybe not, but more sanctions or much sharper sanctions.
The sanctions aren't
Something.
working. They were set up, so they knew what the sanctions were going to be, and they set up their economy accordingly. And they're doing roaring trade with India and China that aren't abiding by the sanctions. So, and I don't see that as something that's actually going to affect him. What's going to affect him is NATO going, "Oi, soft lad, go back home." Why did we do it to Iraq? We did it to Iraq when they invaded
Yeah.
Kuwait. We went, "Oi, soft lad, go home." We did it to the Serbians when they started killing people in in Kosovo. Why can't we do it here? I don't understand. Why are we scared of this fucker? He's got no tanks.
And
He's got his soldiers turn up on fucking mules.
And
Turn up on mules.
Are we at the point now where everyone is just afraid of everyone's nuclear option? So they're just going to allow endless drone strikes because of a nuclear, if that's all it is, then everyone just start, clicking buttons, and then we'll just kind of see what the fallout is. Because this is crazy.
Literally. But yeah. I think we should say to Zelensky, give the Ukrainian government the option. Do you want us to come in? Do you think he will use nuclear weapons against you? If he says no, then fuck it, go for it. There's a lot of maintenance that goes on with nuclear weapons that they're not spending the money on. We know they're not spending the money on because America spends more money on just maintaining its nuclear arsenal than Russia spends on its entire military.
Not for long.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we gave them to him.
What if America gave them some nukes?
Yeah. Well, it's too expensive for us to have all these nukes, and Russia is our new partner.
It's a great deal. It's a fantastic deal. Think of all the trade we
look at the market we just opened up by being peaceful.
The worry would be is if NATO does declare and say we're going in there to stop Russia and root them out, what does the U.S. do now?
Yeah. Okay, but
what if they come down on the other side of that hammer now?
Yeah. But this is a non-story, isn't it? The story about this phone call. He's panicked because Biden is on the front cover of all the newspapers today because it turns out that he's got prostate cancer, which is awful. I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
Yeah.
And because he's on the front cover, Trump's like, shit, I've got to do something quick. Put me in the news. And Boris Johnson in the UK used to do this. Whenever he got into trouble or the media spotlight started moving away from him, he'd go to Ukraine. They named a street after him. He spent more time in Ukraine post-COVID than he spent in this country. Because every time something bad happened, he went, "Oh no, I'm in Ukraine. Look at me. I'm helping Ukraine. I'm helping."
Right.
Yeah.
Because that was his deflection thing, and I think this is what we've got with Trump at the moment. He's like, "Oh my God, someone else is on the front cover of the newspaper. I can't even go for one day and let them have the limelight for one fucking day. It's got to be about me. I mean, this is if we're going to talk about nuclear level threat. His narcissism is nuclear level. Like it is an extinction level event, his narcissism. And I just can't wait till the day it happens. I just cannot wait.
The day will come.
Oh, thank you. Being handed a cup of coffee. Keep me awake.
There you go.
So, what's higher in the world chart for GDP per capita? Russia or the tiny island nation of St. Lucia?
Hey, man, St. Lucia's got some great stuff. I've been there. It's a lovely place. Oh,
it's got a higher GDP
economy.
Higher GDP per capita than Russia. Kazakhstan, famous for being the home of
Borat,
has a higher GDP per capita than Russia.
Yeah.
In fact, Russia's just above Nauru, which has a population of 12,000. Wow. Yeah, and obviously per capita, it skews the whole thing a little bit, but Russia's digging in the dirt around, Grenada, Mauritius, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Albania. It's pretty tragic, really, because they pretend that they're still a force to be reckoned with. They're still a world power, and they're absolutely demonstrably not. It's kind of sad.
I mean, it's kind of like how Japan decided isolationism wasn't the best idea, and then they eventually started letting people like, I get you want to be an oligarch, you want to stay in power forever, you want to do all these things, and you had to shut down. Like, this is why it never works. Like, yeah, he's been in, Putin's been in since Y2K. Everybody remembers that. Like January 1st, 2000. Like that was his first day. It's not working, dude. Like, even if you put it on the long enough timeline, even if you start throwing people out of windows, freedom is freedom, dog. Yeah. You can't contain it. And your bad idea will always be a bad idea. So if you're out there, if you're watching out there and you're a quasi dictator, stop it. Get help.
Have you watched Andor?
Be good to the people.
Have you finished Andor yet?
Not yet.
Because
I haven't either.
how huge part of that is like, well, in season one, have you seen season one?
Yeah.
You know the manifesto that the kid does. He writes a manifesto, and he
Spoiler
says,
alert.
No, I mean it's one of the first. I'm like, this isn't telling you anything that happens. A character writes a manifesto in a show about a rebellion, and he talks about how fragile fascism is because it's so unnatural.
Yeah.
Because people crave freedom. People don't crave dictatorship. They don't crave
No, it's true.
authoritarianism. But when you put them in that kind of thing, every time it's been tried, everywhere in the world, at any point in time, it might have been around for a few years or a few decades or even a few centuries, but eventually it collapses because people hate it. And that yearning for freedom will always bubble to the top. You can't get rid of it. It's human nature.
And I think that's why I think the MAGA crowd is waning and it's like falling apart. The edges are already crumbling. Like the fuck around and find out crowd have already found out. So now it's just like the dyed in the wool, the tried and true. It's those guys that are left. And even them, they're just like, yo, that's against the Constitution. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so bad now. They're just like, that's not fair. Like, what if he comes for my guns? I'm just not allowed to say anything. It's like, aha, and like it's ding ding ding, like light bulbs are going off all over. I don't know if you guys saw over the weekend we had really bad storms here, dust storm here in Chicago, some tornadoes here, but down in St. Louis they had an F3 tornado rip through the city, like through the middle of the city.
Shit.
And that same storm system went out into Kentucky, and one of the YouTubers who watches the weather and shit like that, the people weren't even warned in a lot of places where the tornado ripped through because of the Doge cuts.
Yeah.
So instead of them having a nighttime meteorologist on, you know, like a 24-hour guy, like somebody's always there, they didn't have it. They were already cut to bare bones. They didn't have anybody to stay.
Well, have you had the rain and just stopped in the UK? We just haven't had rain. So in spring so far, right, we've had 80.6 millimeters of rain, right?
Jeez.
For the whole season. The previous record low was 100 millimeters, and that was set in 1852 when the measurement probably the instruments probably weren't as calibrated, precise. That's the word. Spring's not over yet. We've still got a couple of weeks because it's the end of May, but it has been a really terrifyingly dry spring. And if we don't get rain soon, we went down to the local river in Durham. It's called the Weir, and we went there yesterday, and we've never seen the water so low. I mean, there was like Roman artifacts on the banks that you could see. They've got a series of weirs on the Weir, and they were like dry, and it was just one little channel at one end,
right,
at one side of it
that trickle.
actually had water, and the rest of it was just dry all the way across. Really scary stuff. Kieran Crossan, thank you very much for the £10 super chat.
Air horns.
Individual NATO countries could act, but Article 5 will probably not apply in the event of Russia attacking back. Article 5 is purely defensive and only used once after the US was attacked. Yes, Kieran, and this is one of the things why so many of us got upset when JD Vance was slagging off European countries and saying we were all lazy and we hadn't been in a war in years. And when Trump's slagging off Denmark for owning Greenland. And it's like, excuse me, Danish soldiers went to fight after Article 5 was triggered in the wake of 2001. A Space Odyssey. No, a disaster. What was it called? 9/11. And the fact that happened, and and now America's just turned around and going, yeah, we hate you all, and you're all shit, and we just want to be busy mates with Russia.
And for all the people who are like, oh, a woman can never lead the country, she would never embarrass us like this, because like, despite what people label it as, there's like this running score amongst all the countries. So America has a debt to, you know, people for helping us respond to things. So we owe it to them to do this, or we owe it to like, there's this, like, if you, in the longer you keep track of politics, the longer the ledger sheet will become. And for someone to get elected and to wipe their ass with the ledger sheet, you know,
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? Like, what is the point? What is even the point of you? You know what I mean? Like you cannot be serious.
Yeah. All of your soft power has just evaporated.
Yeah.
And all that goodwill that people had to America, you know, sort of like a begrudging goodwill, but it was it was there. And this idea that, well, you know, if shit ever did go down, of course America would help us out. We don't feel that way anymore.
It's true.
He might have incapacitated us, you know.
Yeah.
Putting Hegseth in charge, we may not be able to respond in a way that's actual and good.
What's quite dangerous here, actually, we were just talking about the weather in the chat, and Chris is saying the UK's had the driest spring on record, and water companies are looking at imposing hosepipe bans in the summer. The thing is, if we do have a summer storm, and we have a lot of rain in a small amount of time, because the soil becomes so impacted by the fact that it hasn't rained for so long, it means you get those mad floods. Those mad floods that we had last year in Spain, that was caused by months of drought, and then suddenly lots of rain, and it can't absorb into the soil, so it just runs off the top of it, and that creates absolute carnage. When I saw that picture, you know, the one of all the cars down the road, and they were all like on top of each other,
and like that intersection when they were just like stacked.
Yeah. I thought it was AI. I looked at it and went,
I did too.
AI slop. Do you know what I mean? I was like, fuck, it's real. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. And that was just like a suburban street in bloody Spain.
And there's like dunes in the road, you know, and then where you could tell where the water had like turned the corner and then it's like washed up 2 stories of silt.
Yeah.
Just unimaginable amounts of water in like a regular like
and this is
urban center.
This is the fight of our lives. We need to be working together to combat climate change. And Trump, because he's funded by the Saudis and the Russians, and the Qataris, who might possibly have a vested interest in us burning fossil fuels till the heat death of the universe. Maybe. Yeah.
Perhaps.
This is the way.
400 million jets don't come from free. That'll just
tell us about his Bitcoin thing. What's this USD dollar thing? This US dollar. It's a safe coin or something that's linked to the US dollar, and the Trump crime family get like 2 cents for every
for the processing fee on it. Yeah, they're trying to switch us off the dollar and onto like their little bit safe coin bullshit, so that they can manage the fees on all of the transactions on every single transaction for the coin. It's like, dude, this is
what?
Oh yeah. like this, like the grift is real, dude. The grift is so real.
But it goes to his crime family. It goes to his family.
Mm-hmm. If the whatever Liberty Foundation shell company that they set up to launder all of their misdeeds.
Stablecoin.
There you go. He's acting like a comic book supervillain.
Yeah.
It's quickly become the 7th largest stable coin. It's called the USD1 stable coin, backed by Donald Trump's World Liberty Financial.
There you go.
It's grown from a market cap of 128 million to in less than 2 months to $2 billion.
Wow.
And it's got to keep going up. And he gets 2 cents from every dollar. His crime family gets that. And there was an interview with
2 cents.
With a Republican.
Not 0.2, but 2 cents.
Okay. There was an interview with a Republican, and they said, you know, you kept on going on about Biden and the fact that Hunter Biden had this laptop and he did this deal in Ukraine for 50 grand or something. Like, how do you feel about the fact that Trump is getting this jet for 400 million? He's doing all these Bitcoin shit and these NFTs. And they said, well, you see, the difference is when Hunter Biden was doing that stuff, he kept it secret, whereas Trump and his family are doing all this crime, and they're doing it out in the open, so it's okay.
So it's better.
It's better.
It's acceptable.
It doesn't count.
Like, and the problem is, I watched Get a Job, Parker. He's probably like 20, 21 or something like that.
Yeah.
Young kid goes around doing like these debates with MAGA. He's on TikTok a lot arguing with these people. And I'm watching him do this interview. And he talks her off with just about every one of her MAGA cliffs. Oh, I trans this and trans that. Oh, okay, I guess I do agree. This and that, I guess I do agree. And it just befuddles me. It's like, you were so mad before you started this conversation, and you knew so little about the topic. And that's where, and that's the problem. Is idiot like people can be so whipped up in a fury, and they can be so scared of brown people and trans people and you might have a black supervisor. Like they just couldn't they couldn't bear the thought.
Yeah.
To the point where they have voted for literal Lex Luthor. Like I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Lex Luthor would, like, Lex Luthor had a philanthropic side because he wanted a good reputation. I don't know if this moron even cares anymore. They're just stealing.
It's money.
They're just stealing. Yeah. And then every time I say you're being robbed, they look at me like, I'm not being robbed. Like, you have nothing. Look at your hand. It's empty. They took it.
One of the things that I dislike about the legal system in America is this idea of the statute of limitations, where if you've committed a crime and you've got away with it long enough, then you can't go down for it. I don't think it counts for like murder, but I think it counts for like sexual offenses and things like that. Like, oh no, it's been 10 years.
I wonder who wrote that in. I wonder who wrote that in.
Well, pedophiles.
Yeah, there you go. A bunch of sex pests.
Sex offenders, yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, the people who are facilitating Trump now, he's not going to be around forever. So say he carks it, or say he gets voted out in the next election. Will all these people go to jail? Like all the people who are facilitating what he's doing? Because as far as I'm aware, the Supreme Court said that he was above the law, but nobody else.
They better hope he don't die in office. Because if he keels it and has a grabber, and JD Vance don't like you, you're not getting pardoned for shit.
Like, I mean,
you know what I mean? Like
JD Vance will probably not direct the Department of Justice to go after any of his.
She gonna get rotated. She gonna get rotated out too. So once all of them are gone, and JD Vance didn't just start whipping out pardons to every single person that ever touched him, nah, we got you.
Can he give out
and them South Africans going back?
Can he give out pardons before someone's been accused of a crime? They can do that because that's what they did with Fauci, didn't they?
Yeah.
So couldn't Trump just give out pardons to everyone who
he ain't did it yet? He ain't did it yet. So
no, he's keeping that for leverage.
Right.
So at the end of his presidency, he'll turn around and say, "Right, you all."
But if something unforeseen happens, and JD Vance, you know what I mean? Like, that's y'all. They're just rolling the dice, and they have to just stay as close to that butthole as they can, and hold on until it's over.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a risky proposition to break the law because you feel like that guy's gonna bail you out. He let Steve Bannon sit.
Yep.
And them January Sixers, he let them out, but I think that was most of them were out on probation anyway. There was only a handful of them that were still in jail. And maybe
some
under
of those
like
handful are right back in jail for
right. It was probably like under 30, maybe under 40, maybe 30 something that were actually still in jail from the time of January 6th. Most of the rest of them were already at home and stuff. They just got it wiped off their record. So a lot of them got their guns and stuff back, which was the problem.
Yeah. Job James in the chat saying, Graham, one of the arrested judges claimed the very same immunity argument SCOTUS granted for official acts. So I didn't know that. I thought it was just for the president. I thought it was just the president who could do that. Rudy Giuliani, but he's been done under state law, hasn't he? And the president can't pardon for.
But the president just made $2 billion off of his little Bitcoin. Rudy has not been mentioned. He's done. He's a loser. He doesn't like you. You lost.
Yep.
If you would have did what I told you to do, I would have won that election anyway. But you got caught with your sloppy fake elector scheme. You should have never got caught. So that's what he just threw him under the bus. Rudy is selling his watches and rings.
I don't even know if it's all the fake elector thing. It's just the fact that Rudy looks bad. Those pictures of him with the grease dripping down his hair and all that shit. He wants nothing to do with a guy who can't present himself.
You got to look like a winner even when you lose. And you looking like a loser over there, Rudy.
Yeah.
To the wolves you go.
Sweaty boot polish coming off his head. That was disgusting, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That made me feel a bit.
Didn't he look like Didn't he look like the guy from Fifth Element?
Yeah. Yes.
What
Yes,
the
he did.
fuck?
Yeah. They had the blood trickle or whatever
Gary
down
Oldman.
underneath that.
Gary
plastic
Oldman?
thing.
Is it Gary
Yes.
Oldman? Yeah.
It was.
Such a great film.
It was. Although the director, oh God, let's not get into that.
Oh, boy.
Alice Stern,
Well,
thank you very much for the £1 super chat. It's very kind of you. And Band of Harp Jays are saying they're begging him for pardons when he's on his death. They'll be begging him for pardons when he's on his deathbed.
Yeah, he'll be pulling out the auto pen then.
But then, so at the end of his reign of terror, if he does give pardons, preemptive pardons to all of his acolytes, but then they can still be done for state crimes, can't they?
The president can do whatever they want. Maybe they'll just get locked up anyway.
No, I mean, like, they won't be. He can give them a preemptive pardon for any federal crimes they've committed, but surely they've committed a lot of state crimes.
It's against the Constitution to deport citizens to El Salvador, Graham. But, guess we'll have to see what the courts decide. I don't give a fuck if they're pardoned or not. Lock them up anyway. Make them fight their way out. Because this is some bullshit, and I'm not about to let the Foot Clan reassemble themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm just speculating here. I'm just spitballing, but the way the public is going, the public opinion, Trump's not going to be able to run again. If there is another election coming up in a couple of years, I see J.D. Vance maybe wanting to step forward into that presidency seat, right, to run. I think you hate him, but I could easily see him, like, if Trump doesn't give these pardons, picking a couple of those people and basically sacrificing them so he could say, look, I'm not going to be like Trump was. I'm putting these people away. Right?
Just resend the pardon or whatever. I bet they go for Ivanka or Don Jr. over JD Vance. Like, I think the MAGA crowd is going to try to keep it MAGA, and they're just going to go through each one of the kids before they put Vance in there, because his wife is still Indian, and they have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that. That's awful. But
you saw Nikki Haley was their bright new future, and then as soon as they were like, she's not tan. Wait a minute, get her out of here.
So you think that they're going to run Trump, Don Jr. or
Ivanka?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No,
and then they'll run Barron.
But the thing is that they're
Barron,
not,
I could see
they're
years
not very
coming back.
They're not very charismatic, though, are they?
No,
Like
those two, like Ivanka's the most charismatic out of those two, and I think the United States has proved that they just won't put a woman in charge. Although the MAGA crowd getting behind it might change things, I don't know.
It's so nice to be here without my father trying to have sex with me. Now that he's gone, I can come out in public again, safe at last. So
last week, the Supreme Court seemed to slap Trump down about bringing in this rule from, what was it, 1798, in order to deport people without due process. But there's a bigger court case going on, isn't there, at the moment? And he's got a couple of these people who sound like the gargling glass. Like there's Robert F.K. Jr., and then he's got this lawyer who also sounds like he's gargling glass. It's a horrible sound.
It's like he was a football coach for 1,000 years, and he just yelled and yelled on the pitch forever.
He sounds like that. Anyway, he was in the Supreme Court last week, and he was trying to argue with them to say that one circuit judge can't stop the
nationwide injunction,
executive order across the nation.
Yeah, no nationwide injunctions.
yeah. And they were like, well, you're going to be taking the power away from us then, aren't you? And they're like, yeah. They were, so what's the redress this? What's the recourse? And he's like, well, you know, everyone else would have to bring a class action lawsuit or an individual lawsuit against the executive and say, you know, this is out of order and this is gets shown up against the Constitution. And if enough of them do it, then whatever. I mean, the idea is madness. Then the Supreme Court, one of the justices, I think it was Amy Coney Barrett, actually. I think it was one of the fucking. It might not have been. It might have been.
Yeah, she dissented.
One of the liberals, but it said, so hang on. What if a future president gets in and says, "I'm going to take all your guns off you"?
Oh, that was Sotomayor.
Was it? Okay, Sotomayor. Yeah. What could be done? Like all those individual gun owners would have to individually take the government to court, and they're like, yeah. I'm just like, what? But then again, that same thing was said last year, or not the same thing, but similar thing, when she said about the Navy SEALs being told by the president to go and kill his political opponents if he had absolute immunity for prosecution. And you're like, okay, well, that's just said the most ridiculous thing that could possibly happen. So obviously they're not going to go along with giving presidents immunity from prosecution for any crimes they commit while in office. And yet they went ahead and did it anyway.
Yep.
Which is scary. Darko, thank you very much. Or Dorco, sorry. Thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Vardy for president or prime minister. Cheers for that. And Blue Badger saying Kia has a smart looking short saying delivering for Britain, saying showing info about the deals like you said he should, Graham. Yes, that's the way it should happen. Early Burns, it's not the same immunity. Concept of deals. It's not the same immunity as the president, but presidential one, but judges do have immunity in their courtrooms. That's quite interesting. So if a defendant really pisses them off, they can just go and be a bit stabby. Don't you fucking talk to me like that.
I mean, you would be.
I don't think they could do that.
I think you'd be committing a crime in front of a bunch of officers, and then they could just be like, "Aha!" and I'll take you to a judge.
They've got immunity. Can't prove it, did it?
There's a bloody shiv in your hand with your name carved in it.
Literally, what you do. You can't trust your eyes, though.
Who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes?
So, is there a good chance that once Trump's out the picture, all these people who are making a shitload of money off his corruption will actually face some kind of
I think a lot of them will get away because a lot of the people making money off of this are also on the left. Like, let's not pretend like this is like a Republican only or a MAGA only grifting right now. This is a wealth grift. The wealthy are grifting. The wealthy are investing in things that are buying up entire neighborhoods and stuff like that. That is not that is a bipartisan assault on the American people. They're both stealing.
So there are actual Democrats in the Senate who are poised to enable Trump's crypto corruption. Like, that's actually happening now.
People with money.
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty mind blowing. Obviously, it's got to get around the 60 vote requirement to get around the filibuster, and there's at least 2 Democrat senators who are going with it at the moment, and they might get more. And both of them have been given loads of money from crypto companies in the past few years.
Yeah,
and this. I mean, the
Citizens United
is just so fucking evident.
This is what happens. This is what happens when you get Citizens United. This is what happens when you have a lobbyist culture in the federal government. There should not be a lobbyist culture in the federal government. They should be back and forth to their fucking districts, talking to their constituents, taking the salary that they've been appointed by Congress, and that's it. It should be a job that you go and you do, and it is a service to your constituents. That's what it's supposed to be. The fact that these people are making out like bandits and doing the same shitty job for 50 years while making, $100,000 on books, and then their wealth is increasing by several million every quarter. Nancy Pelosi, Feinstein,
Exactly.
Ivy. Like, I get it. Schumer. Like, I get it that these people are supposed to be these pillars of this, of like safeguarding the rights of the people, but they're not doing that. They're filling their pockets. And it's a bit frustrating, to say the least, that every time somebody wants to stand up and represent the people and fight for the people, here comes the old money to shut them up.
Yep.
Do you see this ending?
Oh yeah, it's gonna crash. There will be a detonation of all of this. The meteorite will hit the ground.
How do you see it going down? Because I mean, look, you know my attitude about this. I think that everyone's just gonna take their medicine and just go along with it, no matter how bad it gets. The people who can will leave, and the people who stay will be like making excuses for it, like people make excuses for the weather in the UK.
I think once the shortages really sink in, because they're gonna be deep, and long lasting. And then when trade relationships don't reopen back up, and like these crops, who knows what's happening with the crops that we're putting in the ground right now? Who knows? Who knows if anybody's going to buy them? Who knows if anybody's going to make any money for them? Who knows? Because all of this tariff bullshit is on the whim of a psychopath. Yeah, go ahead.
Your farmers need to start planting stuff other than their normal crops that they export. That way you guys actually have food to eat.
Right.
Corn?
You know what I'm saying? Because what they're planting now, but you can't survive off of just corn. Well, you can, but not well.
And not all corn is sweet corn.
So, yeah,
it's Coca-Cola.
Most of it's
most of the corn they're making is for like canola oil, right?
And for feed.
Feed. Yeah. So it's not fit for human consumption.
An E85, baby, making that race car fuel.
Haven't the Chinese moved over to other countries to get their corn now and to get their feed for their pigs?
Soybeans.
Soybeans. Yeah.
Brazil. Yeah. And then for their pork too, I think.
Questionable Absanity. Thank you very much for the £5 super chat. It's very kind of you. I think anyone following orders that mean they commit a crime under international law is not immune from ICC prosecution. That's the Nuremberg principles. But America's not part of the International Criminal Court.
Nope, we left after.
Interestingly,
Afghanistan.
We'll talk about this tomorrow on Geoscope with me and other Ollie. And but everyone's called Mike or Ollie on this show, on this channel.
Just Mike's and Ollies.
Something really interesting has happened in the Philippines. Robert Duterte, who was the president until recently, he's currently being detained in The Hague, awaiting a trial.
Snatched his ass up.
Breaking international law. Yeah. Now, one of the rules that they have in the ICC is that if you're a part of it and then you leave, you can still be put on trial for crimes that were committed when you were part of the ICC. And so, because the Philippines was in the ICC till 2019 or 2021, and Duterte murdered shitloads of people before then, they could do him. He's just been elected the mayor of Davao in Mindanao. And it's like, okay, he's just been elected as mayor from a jail cell in The Hague. And there's a question of like, can he take the oath of office? Can he run?
Oh,
the country from a jail cell? And we were asking this about Trump last year, weren't we?
They were.
If I lost that election to Duterte and he has to take the oath, I'm like, yo, excuse me, what time is it? He was supposed to have taken the oath by 12 o'clock noon. It is 12:05. I didn't hear a goddamn thing. I had second place. Mayor me. I would be calling in all technicalities. I'm like, he has not been at work for 13 days. That is a dereliction of duty, and I would like to resume the title of mayor now. or we're gonna re-fucking what's it called? Rerun the election. Fuck that. I'm calling winner.
Yeah. Well, there's like there's like
TKO.
3 dynasties. There's the Duterte dynasty, and like all his kids are involved in politics. His daughter is the vice president of the Philippines at the moment, and the president of Philippines is the son of the he's the son of Imelda and Ferdinand Marcos. Imelda Marcos, famously with all the shoes. Remember the woman who had thousands of shoes? Well, the people of the Philippines were starving to death on the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah, their kid. And I don't know. I'd say that people love freedom, but I think some people just want to be told what to do. They just want a monarchy, want an absolute monarch. Because thinking is hard, decisions are difficult.
I think it's very important for dictators and I would say generally the right. They want people to be as insulated and terrified as possible, because it doesn't matter if you're well read, it doesn't matter if you're well traveled. If I can scare you, I can scare you, and that way what I mean. So it'll just negate everything that you currently like. There's tons of people who are perfectly reasonable, intelligent people who have gone down this MAGA pipeline, and it's just like, you sound dumb now, right? But they have a complete ecosystem in there where they don't have to come up for air and realize how insane they sound on a day-to-day basis.
No, because everybody's saying the same thing they are, so they figure it works.
Yep. And social media doesn't help because it's, it totally overrepresents the fact that these probably 10,000 people are just watching their own videos, just cycling off of each other, but they imagine that there's millions and millions and millions of people out there that are like them, when it just ain't the case.
Yeah. Just to go back to the sort of Citizens United thing we were talking about, can you see that going in the next few years? I mean, it was a 5-4 decision, wasn't it, in 2010, 2011? 2010. And it basically said, it took off the cap for how much companies, individuals, trade unions could donate to a political cause, as long as it didn't go directly to a candidate.
PACs and companies and corporations are people, and money is speech.
Yeah.
So the people have free speech. That money
Yes.
was those persons' free speech.
God, you got to squint really hard to see that in the Constitution.
And you got to tilt it to the side a little bit.
There's a great documentary from the early 2000s called The Corporation. And it takes that idea that a corporation under American law is a legal entity, is an illegal human being. And they're like, okay, is this human being a psychopath? And they go through the psychopath test, all the 12 points of being a psychopath. And all of these corporations tick every single fucking box. Willful destruction of the natural environment, not giving a fuck about people who die, just trying to get to your goals no matter what, just lying to everyone all of the time, doing dangerous and reckless things in the pursuit of your own ends rather than, and it was fascinating. It's a fascinating documentary. It's called The Corporation.
12 traits of a psychopath, 12 months in the year. 13 full moons. It's all.
I think
it's all coming together.
Don't quote me.
It's all coming together. It's all coming together.
It came out 20 years ago. I can't quite remember. But yeah, The Corporation. Yeah, that was what it was called. And but like the fact that you've got so many far right wing nutters on the Supreme Court. And they're going to be in there for the next 30, 40 years unless they die before their time. Like, is there any chance that this is going to get reversed?
So let's do.
It's a Canadian documentary, by the way.
Oh, well, then it's maple approved. Got a little maple syrup on every single one of them.
That's right.
So let's go to the other side of the bizarro world. Because I want to go into like some of the not so much like optimistic, but just kind of pragmatic how this plays out. Like if this chess piece moves here, then what in the response and all that stuff. So if I think a couple of chess pieces out, we got the midterms coming in, I don't know, a year.
14 months.
Yeah, a year and some change. So the campaign for that is going to start in about 6 months. given how Trump has run America, can anyone run as a MAGA Republican right now and get elected, you think?
I would hope not, but yeah, there's still a bunch of states where it wouldn't be a problem, I think.
Okay. So,
So-
because when you have some of these rural places, and in 6 months that crop problem is looking a lot different. You know what I mean? That hurt, that struggle, that 6 months of these tariffs and not knowing, and then the shortages should be coming here in the next month or so. So with all of the shortages that are coming up, with all of the craziness abroad, with all of that, I'm thinking that this is going to be one of the most reformative midterms that we've had in a decade. Good, bad, or indifferent. I think a lot of Democrats are going to get uprooted for crazy pockets of people. And I think a lot of progressives are going to get in. But I think a lot of MAGA is going to lose to like regular ass John McCain Republicans, which are the Republicans' only chance of sustaining their legitimacy as a party.
I saw an interesting factoid the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Said the last time the United States put in tariffs like this in the upcoming midterms for the next 30 years, Republicans put in the tariffs, Democrats had won the control of the House and Senate for the next 30 years. Just saying that's what happened
after the Hoovervilles,
right, 30s.
Yeah.
So it could go that way, and that is the hope. Because then maybe they'll have enough power to fix things like the electoral college and shit like that.
Yeah,
there were fewer out trans people back then, so now there are lots of trans people. They've got someone else to blame, so they'll go, "Oh, my crops have failed," and they go, "Oh, hang on, was it the fault of Trump?"
Those 7 people over there, you're saying?
Actually, no, but crops didn't fail. I just didn't have anyone to sell it to, so it must be the trans people. You know the way that there's like 20 trans people in American sports, women
exactly
in American sports out of 500,000 athletes, and that's somehow
for the NCAA
requires a
referendum
edict handed down to stop these 20 people. Like, you could just go around and ask them. You could go around, give them some money, and say, "Stop doing sports, please." If it's that. It's only 20 people. Do it in a night. Can you stop playing sports, please? It's making J.K. Rowling sad. Oh, sorry. I don't want to make the richest cunt in the world a fucking... Oh, sorry. I've just demonetized everything. Damn it. It's going so well.
You're allowed one, aren't you?
The richest country. I said country, Google. Country. The richest country in the world.
Just call them a country.
Yeah.
There's
J.K. Rowling.
Comedy,
like Mattel.
There's a comedy group here from the 70s, McLean and McLean. They're brothers. They're from Newfoundland, and they have a song. They have an album called "Taking the O Out of Country." Just saying.
Very good.
That's not bad.
I always liked Kids in the Hall. They were from Canada, weren't they?
Yep, they're from Toronto.
I still do that whole thing where you get someone's head on between your fingers.
I'm squishing your face. Crushing your head.
Yeah. I taught my stepdaughters how to do that.
Another thing for the midterms to throw on another log for the midterm fires. We just had all these tornadoes come through. Your Doge fucking idiot fucking got rid of all the people in the radar station because that was part of the NOAA budget.
Yep.
So what and how are you going to clean this up? Where's FEMA? When, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you want to cut all of the funding for everything. And if no one shows up to clean up all these storms, like all of this stuff adds up for him, where even though he's Teflon Don and he's bulletproof and nothing can stop him, like Kentucky after the fucking tariff shit, like I wouldn't be surprised if Kentucky doesn't turn blue. Like the whole state doesn't turn blue after the fucking tariff bullshit, which single-handedly shut down the bourbon industry, which is a big fucking deal. And Canada buys $2 billion worth of fucking bourbon from
not anymore.
Not anymore.
From Mitch McConnell's crusty alligator snapping turtle ass every year. And that hasn't happened at all. So all of that money has been gone. Now they just had fucking F3 tornadoes fucking ripping through fucking like, you can't win on that. And if the Democrats somehow find a way to fuck this up again,
they're on schedule to do that, though. That's the
They're
problem.
very
That's
good
the
at
way they
fucking
look.
things up.
Yes,
this is why
they're very good at fucking things up.
this is why I'm all with the progressives either hijacking the party or leaving, because it's this is
third party.
This is too easy to fix. It's called tax rich people fix the damage with their fucking tax money. This is easy.
Yeah.
This is easy to do.
Yeah.
It's not hard, but you
Yeah.
got to
Do
be
you
uncompromised to put that forward.
Do you think there are bad actors in the Democrat Party?
Yes.
Who are Republicans, but they join the Democrats to make them look bad? Because I'm thinking of like that, the Unfuck America tour and how much of it the fucking disaster it was. And one of the organizers was a Republican. It was putting loads of racist shit online. And then about a week before the election last time, she just turned around and went, "Oh, actually, no, I didn't mean any of that horrible racist stuff. I've seen the light. I'm now a Democrat." And then they managed to like set something up to make everyone else look bad. I don't know. Just
look at Kirsten. Look at Kirsten Sinema, and the other guy that blocked us enshrining Roe and getting healthcare enshrined. Oh, I'm just gonna vote with the Republicans just one time out of nowhere. It's like, no, you're compromised, dude. The fact that everything else you were perfectly lockstep and everything is Schumer keeping the government open so that they can continue to do this. Like all of this is stupid. And the people will never see the light as long as the like Trump was supposed to be an existential threat or displayed as an existential threat because he is. He is an extinction level event for this country's constitution. And it was plain to see, and everyone tried to say it. But then they said, don't say it like that. Don't say it like that. When they were running around calling the Republicans weird and saying that they're coming to control what's going on in your bedroom and stuff like that. All of that was going great. And then suddenly a consultant class came from out of the shadows and said, don't do that. Back
Joe
Israel.
Manchin.
Just back Israel 1,000,000%. Say you'd never do anything different than what Joe Biden would do. Like, I don't know who is out there deliberately sabotaging shit. But clearly,
seems like there is somebody.
But clearly they're on the take.
Oh, can I just quickly say we've got 1 minute and 30 seconds to get your super chats in. If you're going to try and get us to target, good luck. But yeah, I'm just wondering. I mean, one of the sort of more interesting thought experiments right now is like, where is America going to go next? I think of it like a flowchart, and there's so many options at the moment, and none of them are good. None of them are good.
America might need the self-destruct to be able to be reborn from the fire.
Yeah. I think
I don't know what form that'll take. It could be just political, but I mean, it could be worse than that. Who knows? So
because the reason I first pinpointed the midterms is people haven't had a way of punishing Trump for what he's done. You know what I mean? Like they haven't had a way, except for in Wisconsin, and except like they haven't had a chance to unequivocally demonstrate their lack of support for what's going on. When that opportunity comes, I expect for there to be. That's why they had to rush through and get that voting thing together, so that if a woman has remarried and her name is different than her birth certificate, that kind of shit. That's why they're trying to. They were as hard as they could. They wanted to get that in before the midterms because they know it's coming. Yep. And they're going to try every hook and crook, and they're going to try to throw out votes, and they're going to try it. Yeah. They're going to try it because as much as I argue with MAGA people, none of them can explain to me why doesn't he just use Congress?
Yeah.
They're all in your pocket. They all love you.
Haven't they
why
done
don't you just ask them?
Haven't they got the fewest amount of bills passed since like the war or something? It's just like normally by this point it's usually like a few dozen, and they've done 5.
They've literally handcuffed themselves to the radiator and then threw the keys out the 30th floor window. Like they are deliberately not helping, and they're gonna have to own that, and they're gonna have to wear that. Like, why have you done literally nothing for almost a year?
But they'll blame the Democrats to say, well, the Democrats would use the filibuster against us, so what's the point?
They
Also,
don't know what the filibuster
have,
is.
They have tried to introduce a bunch of mad, like, laws, like bills that are just fucking crazy. They've just died on the floor, though. Of, like, not even the Senate. They've died on the floor of the House of Representatives. It's just, everyone's just gone, what? You're mad.
I want to know what's going to happen like a month and a half, 2 months from now, when like the FBI and all that runs out of money because they don't have a budget.
They've already run out of money, haven't they? I saw Kash Patel being interviewed by some select committee or something. They're like, you've run out of money, you know? And he's like, I don't know if he looked really spaced out. He looked like he was on drugs.
Same thing with DHS. DHS is going to be through their budget in 60 days.
Is that the Department of Homeland Security?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thirsty
Gnome.
Yeah. Same with her.
Yeah.
She was being interviewed and she was like, they're like, you're going to run out of money. You're blown through your budget. And she's like,
yeah.
They have no idea how to govern. They have no idea. Like, you know how like for every job, it's got like manager, duties include, and then there's like a list of things to do. They have no idea what the list of things to do for their position is. They are there to make sure that department doesn't exist anymore. Essentially, Kash Patel is there. Kash Patel is there to break the FBI, destroy it from the inside out. McMahon is there to destroy the Department of Education from the inside out. RFK is supposed to destroy the Health and Human Services Department from the inside out. Hegseth, like, these people are intentional. Pam Bondi, they're intentionally bad at that job. That's why Steve Bannon and Stephen Miller chose them, because they want the worst people possible there so that people completely lose faith in the American government as a whole and think that the MAGA cult is the way to go.
Yeah.
They are and meanwhile, Elon and all of them are stealing all of the cash.
And RFK Jr. is literally swimming in shit creek. Come on, E. coli, do your thing.
I've never been so disappointed in a bacteria.
Not that lucky.
He's there's over 1,000 measles cases in America at the moment.
But that's not as many as in what do you say? As many as in Canada or somewhere. Or he named like Mexico and Canada had more. And then Mark looked Mark looked it up and he's like, that's not true.
We had 3 more cases.
Yeah,
we had 3. He said U.S. had 1,000. He said we had 1,600, and we had 1,003. It was
like apparently,
just look it up, dude.
69 children have been hospitalized under the age of 5.
Yeah.
3 deaths have been confirmed to date.
Stop.
And 2 of them were unvaccinated school-age children. And I saw an interview with the parents of one of those kids who died. They were 6 years old. They were burying their 6-year-old son who died of this easily preventable disease. They were happy at the fact that their kid was dead. That's how fucked up these motherfuckers were. I think they should be put in jail for the rest of their lives.
Here in Canada, a lot of that measles outbreak is in the Amish community and stuff like that, where they're by their religion, they just can't take vaccines, right? So
by their religion, they have to kill their children. Crazy religion.
Yeah, I know. So,
I mean, can I just go around just like stabbing? Because kids are annoying, aren't they? Can I just go around stabbing them and say it's my religion? It's okay.
Oh, only 1 in 6. Only 1 in 6, and that one has to be doing something annoying.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad we know what the rules are about taking.
He's not defending
He's
not defending the Amish. He was just saying it was in an Amish community.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm glad to know it's 1 in 6.
Ollie's like, I'm not Amish. Like, I don't know what he wants me to say.
I'm not Amish. I got my shots.
I'll show you.
I go regularly to get my COVID booster. Come on now.
Don't hurt me.
Honestly, it really breaks my heart that there are people out there who are willing to sacrifice their children to their beliefs.
They've been doing that forever.
When you get brought up and you're taught something and it's hammered in your head over and over again, it's like I feel bad for the kids that it's happening to, but I do understand why it's happening to them.
Yeah,
and
they're stuck.
I blame? No, I blame the people that are spreading the bullshit and convincing them.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know.
Svac says the worst thing is that parents are unvaccinated themselves.
Yeah.
So's Robert F.K. Jr. Gobshite. So's his. He said. He
Did
was
you mean
asked about-
vaccinated? You said unvaccinated.
He's vaccinated.
Okay, I
He's
was about to say-
vaccinated his kids. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's late here. But he was asked. He was
I was
asked
like-
in one of the select committees. He said, "Would you vaccinate your kids against measles?" And he went, "Oh, I don't know.
He wouldn't answer. Just wouldn't
You,
answer.
you shouldn't take it for health advice off me." And it's like, yeah, because
That's literally your job. Brenna Duncan in the chat says anti-vax comes from eugenics. Yes,
Yes.
Nazis. These guys
Nazis.
are Nazis.
Yeah.
Okay? So as soon as y'all come to terms with that and understand that the trans people are not crazy and they're not like these super toxic monster things that will creep out of the... There are literal fucking Nazis on one side, and you're worried about someone who has... Like, you gotta keep your eye on the ball here, Chief. Like, you can't be this dumb to be this distracted by something that is literally none of your business. Trust me, no one trans wants to sleep with you. You can go to sleep. Well,
You are safe.
You are an asshole and you probably stink. I can probably, like, if you're a bigot, you probably have poor hygiene.
I think
you smell
all
bad.
the turfs, all the turfs that I've ever seen are fucking minging.
Like, if you're
Lincoln? I don't
Like really
never-
ugly, like hanging. You know, like just got a face
I
like
haven't
a
just
bag
hadn't
of
heard
mashed
that term.
arses.
they
Like they
speak
fall
a
out the
different
ugly
language.
tree, hit every branch on the way down, and then beaten to death with branches from the ugly tree.
And
Hatchet,
you know,
hatchet face. Gotcha.
and there and I, in my altruistic secular humanist self, I believe that there's somebody out there that will love you and find you beautiful, but no one
Yes.
knows who that person is. So in the meantime, go sit your
But not-
early ass down
But,
somewhere.
but not if you're a turf, because then you're ugly on the inside.
Yeah, and
as
nobody
well as
wants
being
that. You're gonna
absolutely-
have to scrub that inner turf out of you,
Yeah.
or you're just
I
gonna
think
be
that-
alone forever.
I think that a lot of women who are turfs are jealous, and I think that a lot
Oh,
of men
for
who
sure.
are turfs have a hard drive, at least 7 hard drives filled with trans porn, and they hate themselves for being turned on by that.
Look, every
you
year when the report comes out from Pornhub, I get the report and it shows by state the top genres that people like to enjoy. Hey, southern states.
Yeah.
you
Bible
said
Belt.
you,
Look out.
you said you didn't care for certain activities. I mean, it's anonymized or whatever, so it's just like literally like how many hours and days of footage was watched in each different genre. Your search history says different, sir. It
Well,
says
I think,
different.
I think being a turf is like being an incel for middle-aged women.
Yeah.
Mm.
They just want
Okay,
to
someone's
take
gonna clip that, and I'm gonna be into so much trouble now. How they come out with the same shit?
Ollie.
They come out with the same
Ollie-
idiotic shit.
Ollie, remind me to clip that so he gets into a lot of trouble later. Okay.
Okay. I got you. I got you.
I don't
covered.
think he
Make
heard
a
me.
note,
I
make a
said
note.
I said it soft. I
Make a
don't
note
think
of
he
the
heard me.
time.
That was exactly at 4:13 p.m. my friend.
4:13 p.m. Carry the
Oh, I'm in
one.
so much trouble now. Someone was saying, isn't it nice when Graham and Mikey aren't arguing? No, it's not nice when we're not arguing because we don't get any super chats when we're not arguing. If I have an argument with
What?
you or I have an argument with Phil, all the super chats start flooding in because people are like,
That's 'cause-
Graham's right or Mikey's right. Shut up, Graham. Shut up,
Li-
Mikey. Shut up.
listen to this liar. They have
people
never
involved.
super chatted saying you're right. They're always saying I'm right.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
always
yeah,
saying
yeah.
I'm right, and they're trying to calm you down. They're trying to agree with me in a way that you'll listen to because you
Stop
just
interrupting.
turn your. There it is. There it is. There it is. The old tricks.
The old interruption. That's it.
You're bin podcast news. You're fake news. You can't talk.
Yeah. We better be careful. Politics Social might sue us for a defamation suit for $20 billion because they didn't put out the full episode of the Friday Night Social in which we were on there, and I feel offended. It's edited. I want $20 billion. What the hell?
It could happen. It could happen.
The
Shit.
president of CBS left. CBS
He left.
she. Yeah, she's out of
Yeah,
there.
sorry.
Did you hear
What's
that,
this
Graham?
about?
The president of CBS left her position. She resigned.
Why?
60
60
minutes.
minutes.
Because of 60 Minutes.
CBS
Yeah.
owns 60 Minutes, and so like
And the presenter of 60 Minutes said, I'm fucking out of here, didn't he? And he'd been presenting
Well,
it for like 20 years.
The head director for 60 Minutes quit
yeah,
because
Yeah.
they're being forced. He said, I'm not going to be able to actually choose my news sources without being having influence. So,
Yeah.
or whatever he said. It's
Yeah.
along that lines. I don't know exactly. Yeah, no. And then she's gone now. And it's all because they're caving, because Paramount, the parent company that owns CBS, is trying to make a deal for, what is it, Skyline or Starline or something like that.
yeah.
So they're trying to do a merger.
And they need
which
permission from the president, effectively, don't
they,
they?
they whatever that committee is, the
Monopolies and
FDA,
mergers.
yeah,
Antitrust. Is it the antitrust in America? We call it monopolies and mergers over here.
Might be
I don't know.
FTC.
FTC. I think that sounds right, but I'm not 100% sure. But you need permission to be able to sell your properties whenever you're big commercial properties like that. They're basically being threatened. No, we won't give you permission if you don't cave to this lawsuit.
Just let I mean, if Barack Obama would have just extorted more companies, I mean,
yep.
Maybe he would have been a better president if he just like literally said, I don't like how you did an interview with John Kerry or some shit, or you and Rafael Cruz were a little bit too cozy. So now that I'm president, that'll be that'll be $5 million. The money was different back then.
Now that you bring it up, it is Obama's fault. It is.
Yeah.
he should have went after Fox News and put not Fox News particularly,
Rupert
but
Murdoch.
he should have went after news broadcasters to put more enforcement in to make sure that if they're representing themselves as a news company, that what they're presenting actually has to be factual.
Yeah.
All that.
We need to do that over here as
a
well.
lot of this bullshit out of Fox.
Do you know what it is? It's arrogance. It is arrogance of people on the left who think that no, I can explain it to them in the way that they'll understand, and they'll see. Don't you see? Yeah. They'll see that Fox News is lying to them. That One Nation and fucking broadcasting is lying to people. They'll see it because we'll make their lives better, and then they'll go, oh, the reason why my life got better must have been because of Joe Biden and Barack Obama and the Democrat Party.
But I can't say no, I don't want Fox News when I take Big Pharma money and all the Big Pharma's ads are on Fox News channel all day long. So if I say no to that hurts my money. So I have to just let it go and just say that's free speech, everybody. Everybody's allowed to say, because I don't want to work. I just want to be wealthy.
I didn't say they couldn't have those shows on there, but just said you can't represent yourselves as news.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You can't represent it as news unless it's actually factual.
Yeah.
Or you have to take like a 2-week online journalism course.
that would disqualify so many people at Fox.
It would.
I mean, Pete Hegseth. he doesn't need to be no damn journalist. He's ready to run all the generals in the fucking giantest army ever. Yikes. Yeah. Well, there's not so many generals anymore, huh? Can't have no women.
Apparently,
no blacks.
Breaking news. Super Tiny's just been in touch to say we have a guinea pig who looks a bit like Graham. Oh,
what?
You know what I always thought guinea pigs look like? Sweet potatoes that came to life. They were just in the ground one day and they just poop. Just got little feet that popped out the bottom of a sweet potato, and then they
to me they're just tribbles with faces.
Long ass tribbles.
Yeah. I Super Tiny saying I normally see UK newspapers and feel smug that I'm not bold enough to buy one. Well, in the UK for many years, it was like the inverse of what happened in America. In America, you had quite sensible newspapers like the the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, which was quite well.
The Chicago Tribune.
Yeah. Whereas in the UK, we had the Sun and the Mail and the Express and all these fucking dickhead tabloids, with tits on the front cover, from the royal family.
Now that's
And-
Come on now. Page 3 of the Sun was never too bad. Come on now.
They have a picture of the royal family on the front cover of the tabloids in this country every single day of the year. Every day,
Sure.
there's a picture of someone in that family.
Someone's buying it.
There's probably tabloids dedicated to just the royal family over there.
The obsession is mad. I mean, in America, they had like pretty decent print journalism. Over here, we had shit print journalism. But we had good television stuff.
Yeah.
BBC was always held to a very high standard. Channel 4 News, Sky News. And then it all changed in the last few years when you got Gammon Box News. You had Talk TV, which has now moved to online, but it was being broadcast. And they're just putting out any old shit they want. And last year, someone on GB News equated gay people with pedophiles.
Ooh.
And nothing's happened. They've still got their broadcasting license. They haven't been given a fine. They haven't been given fuck all for saying that on a news show.
Who's the people that regulate that? Like, we have the FCC. What is yours called?
It's called Ofcom, the Office of Communications. Yeah.
So people have told that to Ofcom, and Ofcom did they have a response?
Well,
did they say
the people
anything?
in charge of Ofcom are part of the private school mafia, so they went to their posh private schools with the people who run the news channels, the producers, the directors, the showrunners. So they all know each other. So it's like, can you not do that thing? We had an incident last year, it might have been the year before, when a member of the government was interviewing two members of the government on GB News as like an interview. And we were like, how can this be on a television show that's supposed to be news? It's called GB News. And like, it's not news, it's entertainment. But it's got news in the title. Yeah. I know it says it's news in the title, but it's just entertainment.
Remember that show News Radio? It's like that.
Yes.
Yeah, like broadcast news. Broadcast news with Burt Reynolds.
Yeah. The Office.
I think. Was that Burt Reynolds or Tom Selleck? I can't remember. One of them. There was a mustache in there, I'm sure.
One of the great 80s stashes.
Hulk Hogan.
Blue Badger says, OMG, Graham is a giant ginger guinea pig. No wonder he successfully traveled the whole world, fueled entirely on personality. I was very lucky not to get eaten in Ecuador, I have to say.
You got what?
Eaten in Ecuador. They eat guinea pigs in Ecuador.
He ate one.
I didn't eat one.
You ate one.
He
Not on
ate
that trip,
it.
anyway.
But somebody munched on you in Ecuador is what you're saying.
Nah, man, they got little guinea pigs on a stick, son.
Was it a gummy or was there teeth?
With some limon on that bad boy at high altitude, eating guinea pigs.
We're going to have to wrap up in a minute because we've been yapping on for quite a while. Are there any news stories that I might not be aware of that have come out in
Apparently you missed
America or more probably Canada? Because, Ollie, we don't get as much news from Canada as we get from America.
Dude,
is anything going down?
You missed
things
the
have
tornadoes.
stabilized here.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice and
Party's
quiet.
in charge now. They feel like things in our political point have kind of stabilized a bit with him there.
Enjoy it.
So yeah.
Enjoy the silence.
Yeah. So we're just
Enjoy
waiting
the
to see what
peace.
he's going to do and what he's doing. So, like, I mean, I've seen some of the effects of just him being put in charge of the Liberal Party because even before the elections, like I work for Canada Revenue Agency, so we've seen some different things that he's putting into effect here. That's affecting us, but I mean everything's still sailing pretty smooth for us. So.
Well, that's good. How are things sailing in America, Mikey?
Also, Kay in the chat says a news story you might have missed: an IVF clinic in
California,
something Springs, not Palm, maybe it was Palm Springs, 29 Palms in California. An IVF clinic was bombed,
Firebombed.
yeah, by some maniac. I think he blew himself up too, but yeah, deliberate act of terror on an IVF clinic. Fucked up.
What's the problem with IVF?
I don't
that's
know.
Creating life.
They said that they had they went through his like social media or whatever, and he's like the antinatalist.
Have you heard the horrific story about the woman who's being kept alive?
Yeah.
Is it in
Yes.
Texas? Is it Texas?
I'm not sure.
She's brain dead. And to try and keep someone, the body going of someone who's brain dead is a full-time 24/7 thing that you have to keep doing. But more than this, like, you are not allowed to take organs from someone in America. Doesn't matter if they're dead. Doesn't matter if it's going to save the lives of so many children.
Yep.
You're not allowed to take their organs without their express permission. This woman has not given her express permission to be kept alive, well, her body alive while her brain is dead, and her family have not been given permission, and yet they're keeping her alive to try and bring the baby to term, which may or may not happen, and her family are getting footed with the bill to keep her in the ICU for the next few weeks until they can cut the baby out of it. It's so macabre. It's so fucked up. It is like something. Well, it is something from The Handmaid's Tale. It happens in season 3 of The Handmaid's Tale, and it's actually happening now in America.
It's
what?
disgusting.
It's the most disrespectful thing I've ever heard done to a woman.
Yeah.
Like they're just property. They're just vessels.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is
Down with
beyond.
the patriarchy. Like that's just like, because if there was any way to flip that situation around where it was a guy,
Yeah.
ain't no way. It wouldn't even been a conversation.
Didn't they try and get like a rule about men if they wanted to get Viagra, they had to have like a colonoscopy or something, and they were trying to make this a law to make men have to do stupid fucking stuff that's got nothing to do with it when they want medical help.
Yeah,
and they were trying to like ban masturbation as well. But one of the maddest laws that I only came aware of last week was you're only allowed 6 dildos if you live in Texas.
What about
you can
Sunday?
have as many guns as you like, but you can only have 6 dildos.
What about
this
Sunday?
This has got to be taking the piss. This has got to be made up by like The Onion or something. But no,
It probably is a religious rule.
This is true.
It's 7.
You're only
You're not
allowed
allowed to have a Sunday one.
6 sex toys.
7 days in a week, 6. Like this is what? No,
I'm thinking of starting a podcast called The Seventh Dildo.
The seventh, the seventh, and then it's just a bunch of Z's and then a T.
Oh.
So in Texas though, they're trying to outlaw sex toys entirely. They don't want it to. They want it so you can have no sex toys.
Good luck.
If you're found with any sex toys,
Good luck.
they'll come into your house, and if your garage is full of like AR-15s and Glocks and or Uzis and stuff, that's fine. Rocket launcher.
K says
that's
7.
fine.
K says 7th heaven.
And then they find like a little bullet vibrator, and they're like, "That's it. Off to the fucking hard labor for you, matey." And off you go to jail.
Hey, now, was there any limitation on how many knives you're allowed to have?
No.
So all you have to do is attach a knife handle to each one of those, and you'll be fine.
I don't think
just
anyone's
a
going
dull
to
knife,
use
officer.
it
Boom.
It's
with
just
a
a
knife
dull knife,
attached,
officer.
Ollie.
No.
It's
just the
a dull knife,
handle.
just handle.
No, you just put a knife handle on all of it. So now it's not that. It's a weapon, clearly. Check it out. It's
a club.
Yeah.
This
is my
like
baton. This is not
like
a
going
dildo.
back
This
to
is
the Victorian age where they used to have vibrators and they used to sell them as massages, didn't they? They were like massages in the Victorian age, but actually they used for ringing the devil's doorbell.
I'm just saying this is my personal defense device in case an entire bear comes in here. Whoosh. Whoosh. I
know it's
but also
rubber and it's purple, but it's fine.
I'm not sure how it translates over the ocean. You know how crazy it is to try to serve a warrant on somebody to confiscate something? It never goes well.
No.
And you want to take what? Oh, the wife will go berserk. It will be like what's it called? What's that movie with the 2 Irish brothers? And then the Spaniard, Boondock Saints. There was a firefight.
Husband will be scrambling to hide all the guns from the wife.
Yeah, right.
Comes into place.
Richard is saying
Hold on.
dildo-shaped silencer for your AR-15. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Easy. That was many as you want.
Silencers.
No, officer, that's not a dildo. That's a silencer for
That-
this
you can't-
baby killing machine that I own.
You can't use the silencer because suppressors are illegal.
It is just
It's a
the
bipod.
weirdest. We are in the weirdest timeline.
It's a
We
bipod.
really are.
Just flick the arms down.
Anyway,
Flick the
so
balls down. They flick
on-
the balls down, right?
on that, I'd like to say thank you to my co-host of the seventh dildo,
The
Mikey.
Seventh heaven.
in Mikey in America and Ollie in Canada. I'd like to say thank you to everyone watching and everyone who's dropped the super chat in tonight, and everyone who's dropped the chat in as well. I'll be back at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning with Morning Brew, and then at 1 o'clock tomorrow in the afternoon, really excited about this. I've got Abby Heffer, PhD on authoritarian studies. Spent a lot of time in China, and she's got a fantastic TikTok. If you want to follow it, it's Abby Heffer. Abby spelled Abbey. And we're going to be talking about the TV show Andor and the connections with real life rebellions and insurgencies, and also real life dictatorships and how they.
I have a better guest tomorrow.
Who do you have?
On the headliners, me and Tim will be talking with Rachel Reese.
Ooh, that's very exciting.
Should be a good day.
That should be very good.
Air horns.
Excellent. Whoop. Brilliant. Anyway, all right. Well, listen, we're going to head off now. So,
Silencer,
Thank
I
you.
hardly know her. Jesus, K.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it made me laugh.
Oh, that's good.
So, thanks very much, and we'll see you next time. Until then,
Bye.
hello, good evening, welcome. Give us a like on the way out, and goodbye.
Peace.
Bye.
Peace out.
Girl Scouts. All right, so all of yous over here on the bin side. Okay, that was good. Silencer, I hardly know her.
That was funny as
Oh,
hell.
That's
Yeah.
good. All right, we're gonna get out of here. I gotta go feed some babies. I'll see you guys
You guys
later.
have a
See you
good
guys
night.
tomorrow. Tomorrow at 11.
Tomorrow.
You're gonna meet Rachel. You guys are gonna love her. You guys are gonna love her.
Yeah.
Bye.
Well, I did this. Why can't you?
Song's playing.
We're out.
What? What?
Woo.
What?
Thank you for having
What?
me on, Greg.
What? What? I'm. Why can't you? Why can't you?